What is up? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to shred. I am hanging out with the always talented, the knowledgeable, the expert himself, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jacob Gaffney with Gaffney in Austin. And we are about to get into some very fun topics this morning. You think you're better than everybody else? Do you think you're better than everybody else? Let's actually find out. Are you? Maybe, maybe not. We're about to shred. Come shred with us. Gaffney, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
And
good
foremost, a happy belated Mother's Day to all you mothers out there. How was your weekend, Jacob? Did you hang out with the wife and the family?
Of course, I did. We hung out. We went to farmers market.
Ooh.
There were some dogs. There was some baked goods. There were all the wonderful bounties North Texas has to offer. How about yourself?
Dude, that sounds amazing. Dude, I love farmers markets. I don't know what it is about them. Like, it's just one of those things. You love going to them. You can get fresh baked goods. You can always get something interesting. So I'm right there with you. My weekend was awesome. We got to spend it outside, which I'm always a fan of. We spent outside. We took our kids mini golfing for the first time. We took our 8 and 6-year-old mini golfing, and they had a riot. Like, wife wanted to go mini golfing for Mother's Day. I said, let's go. So we went out and enjoyed the beautiful weather. We had fun mini golfing. Needless to say, my youngest, our 6-year-old, he crushed us. He got 4 hole-in-ones. He's
natural.
That's what I'm like, dude. Hey, Tiger. Hey, all you, Rory McIlroy. Rory McIlroy won this weekend in the PGA Tour. Rory, watch yourself, man. Coulter's
Throw some money at that.
He's coming at you. But hey, we got a lot of fun things to talk about today. First and foremost, is there a mentality right now that people are better than everybody else? Do you think, ladies and gentlemen, do you have that mentality? Are you better than everybody else? Jacob, we got to chat about this because this is kind of funny.
Yeah, this is a study. We'll put the link in tomorrow's Rise and Shred. Couldn't make it fit stylistically for this morning's, but you can see with the photo there, that's pretty much an accurate portrayal of the findings of this particular survey.
Oh,
nearly half, 46% of Americans think they're the best person they know. They think that they are better than everyone they know. So whether you think that means you need to get new, better friends, or whether you think the converse and that your friends should get a better you because you think too much of yourself, who knows? But there were some really other interesting findings that was based on this survey. If they're true, 81% of humans believe that humankind is inherently good. And they generally believe that people can get better and should get better. But here's the thing. Most of them believe that people can better themselves, but not as many think that people are capable of getting better themselves. But when you think you're the best person you know, you're not going to be interested in getting better yourself. Now, we have to put a huge caveat on this study. It was commissioned by a company called Behold Retreats that deals in some kind of, I don't know if you've heard of them. I have not heard of them, but they deal in self-help products. So clearly, there's some bias there, but I want to know what you think about the findings generally and how it relates to the mortgage market. Do people in originations tend to think they're better than the clients they serve? Do they think they know more? Do they think they can help them? Do they think the clients need to be better educated about the home buying process? You tell me, Mr. Former LO.
I'm going to tell you, coming from somebody, and I, unfortunately, sometimes I even had this mentality myself, like, oh, I'm the expert. That's why you're coming to me. So listen to what I have to tell you. And I think, and again, I had to get out of that mentality. And actually, I had a coach help me get through that because, again, when we're helping somebody make the biggest financial decision, one of the biggest financial decisions they're going to make, sometimes we do get a little bit hot-headed. Sometimes we do think that, like, oh, well, we are that guy. We are that gal that is helping them through this process. So we do know all. And especially more than anything, Jacob, when it comes to working with realtors, real estate agents, sometimes realtors take it a little bit too far when they think their knowledge exceeds ours. But that relationship, honestly, I think that can be toxic, especially because sometimes we as loan officers, as originators, and as mortgage professionals, we think we are better than them. And it's not a better than them. I love how you said it. It's like, hey, we do have a little bit more expertise and knowledge in certain areas, but that doesn't mean we have to come come off as arrogant. There's a huge difference between arrogance, cockiness, and like knowing what the heck you're doing and being able to provide value in that way. So yeah, I mean, you sharing this study, there's a lot of interesting numbers in it. Unfortunately, I do think, especially some, mortgage professionals, sometimes I do think plus, do you love all these ads in here, Jacob? I love all the ads. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of ads, and I like when you share your screen, because then I could see what you've been surfing on.
I say you get to see all the fun things I'm looking at.
I'm going to see.
I like it. Altera. We should be sponsored by Altera. Malware bites this morning. All kinds of fun stuff. So awesome.
That's where I'm going shopping. It gives me an idea of where to get my my hiking gear.
There you go.
Outdoor gear. Take it from the experts. But I agree. How do you deal with a toxic realtor, though, Josh? Do you come at it from a way which you can be humble and try to educate them, or do you just kind of try to fight through? What are some secrets to success when it comes to dealing with a toxic realtor?
So I'm going to be 100% honest on this one. Again, coming from somebody who's learned, who's been there, there was a time where I took the stance of like, no, listen to me, like, listen up. I know what I'm doing. You've got to just, you've got to eat a piece of humble pie and let me be the expert here. But I have found that number one, that just doesn't work. Like you have to be willing to say, hey, you know what? All right, let's talk through this. What are some of your concerns? What is it that we can help each other do here? We're on the same team. We're trying to help consumers. So let's help consumers. Let's be on the same team here. So I've definitely learned from experience that it's way better to say, okay, let's discuss the issues at hand. Let's really find out how we can cohesively. But here's the thing too, is some people we don't work well with. So it's not so much that we're better than other people. Sometimes we just don't work well with other people, with certain people. And that's okay. That just says we don't need to work with those type of people in the future. So no, that we're
Are there
better.
some relationships that just won't work?
Yeah, 100%.
You have some cases where you just can't make it click.
Absolutely. I mean, you and I both, and even with Shred, there are some relationships. There are some people like, hey, you know what? You're doing your thing. I want to support you, and I want you to. You're really good at doing that thing. You keep going down that route. We're going to do our thing. That's totally cool.
Yeah, so. I mean, I hear you on that one. I know precisely, what you're talking about. I'm sure everyone has something like that, a relationship they've had to walk away from because they just can't make it work. What really stinks is when the counterparty keeps up with the toxicity, keeps up, and it's like, hey, we don't work together anymore, right? We don't stop with the okay, let's just let bygones be bygones. But we know that is not the case. No. We know that there is this underlying mentality. We covered it in the show. You get into the bull ring with bullies, and guess what? They're still punching at the air long after you've stepped out and gone to the locker room, right? So just let them sit there and waste their energy and punch in the air, and go take your shower and get back to work, and stop extending the metaphor way past its usefulness.
Bingo. And sometimes as human beings, sometimes that's what we do, is we just keep going on the same thing. It's like, let it go. Let it go. Stop wasting that energy. Let them waste it. You got way more important things, way better things to focus on, especially when it comes to Zoom meetings, right, Jacob? We got the CEO of JP Morgan Chase. He's not a fan of Zoom.
He is not a fan of Zoom. And let's set the table. Okay. He's at the Wall Street Journal Executive Summit, right? And he's doing an exclusive interview. And you got to love Jamie Dimon. I mean, absolutely. One of the reasons why, Rise&Shred talks about Jamie Dimon is he's got the look. He is representative of a lot of the old guard in the banking industry, and he's good at it. He looks great. He's in shape. He survived cancer. He is a great leader. And he is a very controversial figure because of interviews such as this and things he's willing to say. I mean, he grabs headlines for his Christmas cards, Josh. If his Christmas cards are considered out of touch with the way things are going, he gets tons of bad press. So we're not going to let Jamie Dimon say what he say without putting a little bit of context behind it. So he's saying we are about to be facing this major booming economy, right? Yep. He said work is good. They're hiring. They're not having a problem like the rest of the mortgage industry in finding the right people and all that. They're doing great. They're recruiting. We've covered how their bonus structure and all that. But he said that one of the things that's going to happen For JP Morgan to find its best success in this coming economic cycle is they've got to get back into the office.
Yep.
So he's canceling. He says, so I'm canceling all my Zoom calls. He says he's not doing the Zoom calls anymore. And it's just like this, again, it's this blanket, declaration that comes across that he has suddenly determined from his ivory tower that virtual meetings serve no purpose. And it's very interesting, that kind of mentality, to be such a wealthy and privileged individual who got there through his tough, hard work would suddenly set limits on his resources in an effort to try to make his resources work better. And I've never really understood that. When you want to make your resources work for you and for everyone else, how can you place limits on it? And this is a very, very common conversation happening across mortgage firms right now. Yeah. How much of the office do we need to get into? Can people continue to work from home, and can we find success? These are very difficult arguments to face up to. There is definitely a hybrid work model that needs to be considered, but we're hearing rumors that people are saying, if you send us back to work, we're quitting. If you force us to go back in, we're not going to work for you anymore. I said, well, where are you going to go? Are we going to go back to the 9 to 5 where the employer does have you a little bit, caught on your keyboard because they know you very intimately and they know what makes it work for you? You have families, right? So, if you need a day or two work from home, your employer knows that, lets you do that. It's hard to go to another employer and restart that entire conversation. Your employer knows that. Right. They know that better than anyone else. No one knows you as well as the person who pays you. And you should never forget that they have that on you. And you always have to consider that with their behavior and their approach to you. Is they're thinking of ways in which they can manipulate this and move this and all that. And that's all they think about all day is you. Okay. Take that in, soak that up. Your boss thinks about you all day. Jamie Dimon thinks about his people all day. How much time do you spend thinking about your boss?
All day.
I don't spend it. Well, you got jokes here.
Oh, funny guy.
He's got jokes. But I think you get the point, is that he said that he's made this blanket declaration, and he said that he's received nasty emails from the spouses of people that work with him saying, how can you do this? So,
but I mean, let's be honest here. This pandemic has changed a lot of things. Like you and me, where we both still work from home, we're a little bit different, but we run with a lot of people. We talk with a lot of people who I see a lot of offices in the mortgage space starting to open back up. People are wanting to go back and they want to start surrounding themselves with the culture again. But I just think it's statements like this where it's like, hey, we're forward. Like it's like you're no longer productive. And again, I'm not quoting him exactly, ladies and gentlemen. Don't take this out of context. But it's sometimes it's the way that we approach things and the way that it's said and this way it's portrayed. Again, we like Jamie Dimon. He does a lot of good things, but I just think this might have come off in that way of, we're all sick of Zoom calls. Let's just call it as it is. Do you want to sit on another Zoom call? No, like it's so. Is this something we're going to see more of across the industry, Jacob? What do you think?
I think so, but I think I think it's a better method to reach out to your people and say, hey, look, I believe that we can definitely continue to put together some kind of hybrid work model, but we do need to see each other a lot more. We don't have we don't have the threat of the pandemic. Yeah. So we don't have the reason to be in lockdown. That was a unifying feeling that we all shared, and we don't have that now. So that's what's going to make collaboration more difficult, because we're not forced to collaborate in this environment anymore. So you got to really understand the way the human mind works, and it is social, and it will adapt socially when pressed with threats, right? We will work together to overcome. That threat's gone. We have to figure out how to work together again.
Right.
But we have many different circles that we run in our families. Like we've seen them a lot now. We've kind of enjoyed being around them, and we want to be around them a little bit more. So we're going to have to figure out a way to compromise, because as you know, we've got this going on for some say a very long time, but there's a twist. So you know what I'm talking about. Let's get into it.
Let's talk about it. So there is Goldman Sachs. They have a very bold, in my opinion, let's call it that, a very bold housing prediction. Housing is on fire. Well, hopefully hopefully your house is not on fire, but housing market is on fire, right, Jacob?
Yep, the housing market is on fire, they say, and we're all out of water. There is no way we're going to be putting this fire out one way or another. It is going to burn until it is done. They're saying at least 2 years, which includes this year into 2022, 10% home price appreciation. I shared that little stat on Twitter, and Rick Sharga, who always sets the record straight, was not convinced in such a bold prediction. He doesn't think the market can handle it. You know, I'm always going to lead towards Rick Sharga because he's always setting the record straight. But the other thing is that, you know, 2 more years of 10% home price appreciation is a pretty bold call. And
huge.
Let me clarify that Goldman Sachs did not make this a big, huge public thing. This is an email to their clients who are looking into what markets to invest in and where. That's why you don't see a link in there, Josh.
Exactly.
Because it's not really an external type email thingy. So anyway, so they're saying that we're going to do another 2 years. However, in 2023, they're saying prices are going to start to fall again.
Interesting.
And I agree. This is not a great market unless of course you have to keep in mind, unless of course you're an investor. If you're an investor in home builder stocks, you know, it's a great market.
It's a phenomenal market.
Raw materials, you know, those are the things. If you think about what Goldman considers a great market, right? It's not exactly what we consider a great market by any stretch of the imagination. It is tough out there. It is the craziest market that most people have seen. So I tend to agree with our viewers there. But like they said in the note, and you could see even before COVID, everyone saw this coming, and this just really accelerated. And again, as I always say, every house being built right now already has a buyer. It's only a matter of time, but we have to ride this. So this market, great for Goldman, not so great for us, is going to continue.
Bingo.
They predict well into 2022 before we see a correction in 2023.
100%. John Hill, that is a great, like, we do have a housing crisis. This is not a great market, but that's just it. Jacob, is perspective, right? Goldman's like, yeah, like they're back in the builders, the investors when it comes to raw materials. So it's like, they're booming right now. They can barely keep, you know, materials on the shelves. Prices for them are skyrocketing. So they're making a good little living right now. Now for us in the industry who are trying to find enough houses for our clients, whether it's on the real estate side or whatever it may be, like, it's crazy. Like it is, but again, it's all perspective. It's all, what the main thing was wanting to share this. Plus, this is what you get with Rise&Shred, ladies and gentlemen. This was not super public knowledge. We shared this with you. Like you said, Jacob, this was shared to, you know, people who are investors of Goldman Sachs. So that's why we get to share it with you. You may, this isn't just floating out there, but this is what our team continually does. We look for these things that you may not see just in regular media, and we bring it to you because it's important and we want to discuss these things.
Yeah. And you look at the article itself. You could see on fire was their words. We're all out of water was our words, right? Like saying, like, we if we could do something in this market, we can. But if you look at the fundamentals, where it goes into what Goldman says, competition among buyers for limited inventory send prices soaring 12%. Demographic tailwinds, supply picture offers no quick fix, with home buyers facing headwinds. You know, I saw a comment there that we need to incentivize sellers, not buyers. It'll be interesting when the administration begins to address this a little more forcefully. People come out of their forbearances. You know, employment took a turn for the worse again, and that was in Rise&Shred. Analysts were expecting 1 million jobs to be added to the economy in April. Missed that by a big mark. So employment might not be as strong as we hoped it would be coming out of the forbearance market. We might see some uptick in inventory, but I think, you know, it's just not a pretty picture.
Nah, it's not. But with that being said, there is one of our good friends, and kind of to end on this, our friends over at Home Point Financial. They're trying to help with that job. They're looking to add 2,000 more broker partners to continue with their growth. They had a phenomenal Q1. They're continuing to grow, and that's what they're doing our best as a mortgage industry to find new opportunities to continue to help brokers, to help originators continue to grow their business. Right, Jacob?
Yeah, and there you go. Another perfect example of a story that's buried deep within the earnings report, which obviously focused on their amazing numbers, their fantastic origination volumes and stuff like that. That wasn't, what we thought was the best thing for our readers, although that's certainly notable, especially for investors in Home Point. We thought, you might be interested in who's trying to hire those mom and pop broker shops around the nation and trying to bring them on board and get them, and how many they have. They currently have around 6,000. They want to rise that up to 8,000. So we'll see how many broker partners are going to be joining Home Point.
We will see. And a good friend, Jerry Yoshida of the show. Love these great stories in Rise and Shred's daily diary. Great reporting, Jacob Gaffney and Josh Pitts. Great great on Monday's favorite show. Oh, Jerry, you are amazing. Our good friends over at Next Mortgage Events, Jerry. And we had Molly on the show last week as well. We love those ladies. They do an absolute, and again, opportunities that we have to collaborate with another phenomenal group. Jacob, a lot happened this week. There's a lot more to come. This will be another exciting week of news. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to stay tuned. You have to subscribe to the #1 and only daily diary of the mortgage industry. And like I said, like we shared, sometimes you get stories that you can't find anywhere else. We're sharing the things that you need to know that will help accelerate you and help you rise to the top, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, you like that, Jacob? I do. Right off my head. I just right off my head. Oh, Jacob, great week to come. You are the man. Thank you so much for sharing everything that you have. Guys, like I said, subscribe below. Click the link. You definitely don't want to miss anything upcoming this week. Jacob, you're a gentleman and a scholar, brother. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next Monday. Stay tuned for another daily diary tomorrow morning in Rise and Shred. Until then, we appreciate you. We love you. Now it's time for all of you guys to go shred, go show up, hustle, repeat every day. See ya. Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you again so much for joining us for today's show. If you like the content, make sure you hit that like button below. And if you already haven't subscribed to our channel, click right over here and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you want to see our latest video, click over here. And again, if you want to see the best of daily content within the mortgage and real estate industries, you have to subscribe now. We look forward to having you shred with us every single day.